Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the podcast we discuss all things Usmnt y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. Joining me here in 2025, my co-host Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's good, man? How are you, bro?
Hey, dude, we're back. We're back.
Sure.
I just came back from Monterrey yesterday night, and I'm excited for what's to come in this year.
Yeah, man. We got big plans for the channel, for the podcast here for 2025. A lot of content, a lot of, obviously Usmnt Mexico activity going on, a lot of big moves. So stick it here with PPG for 2025 for your Usmnt and Mexico updates. But Adrian, man, January, like it's costumbre, like we're used to. January means January Camp Cupcake for 2020, or for the Usmnt, especially now here in January 2025. The exciting portion of this is that it's Mauricio Pochettino's first Camp Cupcake, right? The first time we'll see him getting a true, I guess, MLS experience, a roster full of MLSers. He said, and he's committed to, this being, a continuation of that, this being an MLS camp. He reached out in a press conference telling all MLS teams that he expects full cooperation in releasing players, which is kind of a weird statement because MLS is usually pretty cooperative with USMNT. They're very intertwined, as we know. But yeah, man, USMNT starting up against this January against Venezuela on the 18th, and then they play Costa Rica on the 22nd. Like I said, MLS-based players. I think there's a lot of players that we've seen that we're going to see again, the likes of Tim Ream, maybe Miles Robinson. But Adrian, man, we've seen some moves go on in this MLS offseason, right? We saw Jesus Ferreira move from FC Dallas to Seattle Sounders. We're most likely seeing Brandon Vasquez moving back. We are seeing him moving. Yeah. He's not staying with Monterrey. That's been made official by the club.
Most likely to Austin FC.
That's what I've been hearing as well. So this might be a good chance for him to kind of get some play time. And, if he hasn't made a move by then, a way to show clubs, that he's fit and playing well. What do you... overarching before we really get into players and what to expect from Pochettino from these matches and whatnot. What are your thoughts on this January Camp Cupcake Camp Cupcake that we always see? Are you think it's going to be beneficial for Pochettino?
Well, my first question is, what does Pochettino think of Camp Cupcake? Right. I am not sure if this is a common practice in Europe or anywhere else outside of the US. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and the PPG fam as well. If there's another national team that does this, please let me know. I mean, I know that Mexico did it back in before the World Cup in '86, but that was a long time ago, and I can see it from a national team that is significantly dependent on the local league talent, right? And so, but the USMNT isn't necessarily heavily reliant on MLS talent. So, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, what does Pochettino really feel about this? Is it really worth his time, or is he really interested in watching or seeing like any MLS player so far? But listen, I'm new to Camp Cupcake, to be honest with you. When we started doing PPG, I wasn't even aware there was a Camp Cupcake happening at all. I don't know how many years this has been happening, but I am not too sure how I feel about them just yet. And I'm just curious to see what Pochettino makes out of it.
Yeah, see what it results from it with the new coach, right? Because we saw what came from it with Triple G. Mm-hmm. But I think, Adrian, we in a lot of analysis and channels in the USMNT sphere are pretty critical on Camp Cupcake in the past, saying that it's really not worth it, or we don't stand to gain much from it. But I think what Pochettino is the first time being his, in charge of Camp Cupcake, can develop those relationships with MLS clubs, with MLS players. Because sometimes we know that he has to call up some MLS players. There's injuries to the squad. Miles Robinson, Tim Ream, now an MLS guy, right? But I think the benefits that we've seen from it in the past are we're able to see some of the younger and up and coming players from MLS. John Tolkien, we've seen him in a couple Camp Cupcakes. He did well. He's done well in the past for USMNT. Still only 22. Might see him again. Cremashi from Inter Miami, right? He's been in a couple Camp Cupcakes. Diego Luna, we've seen him in a couple in the past. We see him again in this one. Jake McGlynn from Philadelphia Union, the 21-year-old player. Players that might get a call up in this Camp Cupcake and can afford to, or can have a chance to impress the new coach and maybe use this as a launch pad to get eyes from European teams, right? But yeah, I mean, we know that this is a camp that we'll see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of these guys that are trying to make their way back into the USMNT A or B team, right? players like Walker Zimmerman, who we haven't seen in a while, who might be trying to have one last hurrah here for the USMNT, trying to qualify for 2020 or try to get into the roster for 2026, and goalies maybe calendar. We know that currently that's where the USMNT lacks depth, so these players can maybe inch their way closer to that roster and use this as kind of a launching pad, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see if I think that will be the biggest takeaway from here is if Pochettino finds at least some sort of solution on the back, right, on the goalkeeper position specifically. Another one that comes to my mind is Patrick Schulte from Cincinnati. So it could be, well, sorry, not from Cincinnati, from Columbus Crew. Cincinnati's
right.
Yep. So it might be interesting for Schulte to prove himself.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the big points we had here on the agenda. You put on the agenda here. Can Pochettino use these games to solve goalkeeper dilemma? At least, maybe find a way to, like I said, make Schulte or somebody else to get in there and challenge for that, a very position where USMNT's left back position like this for Mexico, right? Mexico has a left back problem. The goalie problem is for the USMNT.
Yep.
So I think that'll be the biggest opportunity here for Pochettino. Maybe the biggest question and the biggest answer he can find if he's able to see anybody here. Goalkeeper, who can I call in? Because we know, and we've said this in the past, Adrian, that goalie is probably the one position where it doesn't matter too much where you're playing at. Playing goalie in MLS might even be beneficial because we know the MLS defense is not the best, right? So goalies in MLS get challenged a lot more, I feel. But goalie is definitely the big question mark here. And two foes that USMNT knows from the Americas: Costa Rica, team that USMNT knows very well, and Venezuela, team that had a very decent Copa America, should be decent opposition for the USMNT for this MLS-based roster, man. So I think we can learn a lot from this Camp Cupcake, more so than normal, than we normally see or have seen with previous coaches, and be interesting, like you said, to see just how he deals with these MLS players, man.
I know it's I want. I mean, I don't have a doubt that he will do a good job just because the culture behind the USMNT player is more attuned to what Europeans are right now, right? I think it will be different if it was, a very Liga MX based team or some other South American. Maybe I don't even know if South American will be a good one because he's Argentinian. But regardless, I think it will be okay. It will be fine. I don't see this being a huge challenge for Pochettino in any way.
Yeah, and we don't see it being a huge impactful in terms of 2025 and in terms of Pochettino's legacy with the USMNT, right?
Exactly.
Can we learn a couple things, hopefully? But, Keep It Hero PPG, we'll do our preview for those matches as that draws near. But Adrian, keeping in, the USMNT sphere, man, they recently just released the USMNT, that is their player of the year, with 55% of the vote. I think a player that you and I were kind of thinking was going to win it. Just to recap for you guys, the players that were nominated were Pulisic, Balogun, Ricardo Pepi, Tim Ream, and Jedi Robinson. And like I said, with 55% of the vote, Jedi Robinson took his first Player of the Year, USMNT Player of the Year award, and is just the second defender since 1995 to win it.
Damn.
In 2006, Onyewu won it. So he's definitely one of the few defenders to win this title here, or this goal. But Robinson, I think, very deserving, Adrian. We've said it all year.
Yeah.
He had a couple setbacks, knocks with the USMNT, wasn't able to play maybe a couple games. But other than that, he played 11 games for the USMNT in 2024, kept 4 clean sheets. And I think more so than the USMNT performance, which we've always said he's been really good. And one of the first names on the team sheet, standout player, had been his performance of Fulham, man. 10 assists in all 2024 calendar year, 7 assists so far this Premier League season. Third on the table of assist leaders for Premier League, just behind Saka and Mohamed Salah. Do you think this was a appropriate winner for this year?
Yeah, I mean, before I continue, Balogun got nominated, dude. Really?
Injured half the season.
I know. It's listen. I don't have anything against the gun, but come on, man. I think there were definitely other players who could have been part of that. I guess decision of 3 or whatever, the runner-ups, whatever the case may be. But no, we called it, dude. We called it on our end of the year episode. We said that Anthony Robinson was the player of the year. I think hands down, no doubt. He was the 2024 USMNT player, both on club level and as well with the USMNT. I know Christian Pulisic was pretty close. to him. Really good season with AC Milan, and also the beginning of this current season was also good for Christian Pulisic. But if someone deserves to be called the best USMNT player of last year, hands down has to be Anthony Robinson. I don't think anyone should be questioning this decision or doubting why he was giving this title. Let's just enjoy it, man, because I think it's been a while since we've seen a I think Anthony Robinson is on his way to be a world class player for the USMNT, and it's been a while, or even throughout history, if the USMNT has had a world class player within the ranks.
Yeah, we talked about it in our end of year recap review. Check it out if y'all haven't. It'll be linked at the end of this video. It was a new format for us, so let us know your comments on that and your thoughts. But we talked about it in that one that Anthony Robinson, that is, is being looked at to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? And if he does end up leaving Liverpool, and we've mentioned that Anthony Robinson is in talks, or in the debate currently of being the best back in the Premier League right now. He's in that debate for sure. Not just left back, the best back in general. So yeah, I think definitely a deserved honor for him. Still only 27 years old. Maybe has one big move opportunity coming up for him here. So we'll see if he's able to take that this summer, or maybe even this winter break. But yeah, definitely deserved. Especially when you compare it, I think Pulisic was maybe the second closest to win that, like you said. But other than that, there was a big drop after that between Balogun and Pepe, right? I think Pepe was doing really well at the end. But Tim Ream, I don't know why Tim Ream was nominated really. But yeah, no, definitely statistics speak for themselves. And Robinson has been fantastic for Fulham and for the USMNT. So congrats to Anthony Robinson for that. And yeah, man, it's going to be a good year for the USMNT. It's going to be interesting to see, what Pochettino's able to bring together here, the Stars and Stripes. But we'll be covering it all, like we said, here on PPG. Yeah, man, as we wrap up this episode, bro, can listeners find us, dude?
They can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes.
Yeah, so be sure to follow us and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube, like I mentioned. And so make sure you hit follow on your preferred streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it may be. And let us know in the comments below, man. What are you excited about for the USMNT year 2025 year? Are you excited for this Camp Cupcake? What are your expectations for this under Pochettino? What are your thoughts on Anthony Robinson winning the Player of the Year for USMNT? And let us know if you liked our previous format, like we said in the previous video. Shout out to our boy Claudio for helping us out with that video. Definitely was fun to make, and we're hoping to make more of those throughout the year. Yeah, man, good episode. I'll see you in the next one, bro.
Take it easy.
See ya.